We don't talk about this enough. After 35, conversations start to feel different. Not louder, not necessarily harder, just heavier. You're at a neighborhood cookout, kids running across the lawn. Someone's flipping burgers, music playing low. Someone hands you a beer. A guy you've seen before stands next to you and says, "So, what do you do?" You answer. He nods. And then there's a pause. Not dramatic, not embarrassing, just long enough for you to feel it. At 22, awkward was normal. You were still figuring yourself out. Silence didn't mean much. But at 38, the same silence feels different. It feels like something is wrong, like you missed a social upgrade somewhere along the way. And that thought lingers longer than the silence itself. I felt that too. At Little League games, standing by the fence watching your kid warm up. At work, conferences, and hotel lobbies, shaking hands with strangers. At weddings where everyone seems to already have their circle. You smile, you participate, you say the right things, but something inside feels slightly disconnected, like you're present but not fully there. And then the internal questions start. Why does this feel harder now? Did I lose something over the years? Did I become less interesting? Or worse? Am I just socially behind? That quiet doubt can grow louder than the room itself. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men after 35 aren't socially awkward. They're socially untrained. No one taught us how to navigate conversations calmly. We were taught how to work harder, earn more, endure pressure, compete, but not how to connect without performing. It's not confidence, it's not personality, it's skill. And skills can be rebuilt. At a PTA meeting, another dad says, "I've been waking up at 5 lately to get back in shape." Most men respond with, "Oh, nice," and that's it. The conversation quietly dies before it even begins. No tension, just no depth. Now imagine responding differently. What made you start? Was there a moment that pushed you? How's it feeling so far? Suddenly something shifts. You're not trying to impress him with your own routine. You're giving him room. And men rarely get room. When you ask a thoughtful follow-up, you're signaling something subtle but powerful. I see you. I'm listening. Go on. At a business conference in Chicago, I once met a man who left corporate after 15 years. Instead of pivoting back to my own story, I asked, "What made you finally decide?" That single question slowed everything down. He paused, looked down for a second, then said, "I just didn't recognize myself anymore." And in that moment, we weren't networking. We were connecting. There's a difference between performance and presence. Most men are stuck performing because they think they need to sound impressive. But presence creates depth. Now imagine you're at a bar watching Sunday football. A guy says, "Work's been brutal lately." While he's talking, your mind starts racing. Should I relate? Should I offer advice? Should I make a joke? That's rehearsing, not listening. And rehearsing disconnects you from the moment. Instead ask, what's been draining you the most? Then stop talking. Let him answer fully. No interruption. No pivot back to yourself. Just presence. After 35, most men don't need advice from strangers. They need acknowledgement. They need space to say what's actually weighing on them without being corrected or outdone. Presence slows the moment down. When you truly listen, the right question emerges naturally. You don't need cleverness, you don't need charisma, you just need attention. And attention is rare. That's why it feels powerful. At a backyard fire pit, someone says they're trying to cut back on drinking. You respond, "Yeah, it hits different after 35. That's it. No lecture, no statistics, just shared reality. Once common ground appears, the conversation doesn't need effort. it begins to carry itself. Shared pressure, shared growth, shared rebuilding. That's where mature connection lives. There will still be silence. And this is where most men lose themselves. Silence can feel like exposure, like you're being evaluated, like you should fill it immediately to prove something. But silence is just space. And grounded men are comfortable in space. They don't rush. They don't overtalk. They don't scramble to entertain. They breathe. They stay steady. And paradoxically, that steadiness makes other people relax. After 35, social strength isn't about charisma. It's not about being the funniest man in the room or dominating every exchange. It's about steadiness, calm presence, a grounded tone, the ability to listen without competing, the ability to speak without performing, ask thoughtful follow-ups, listen without rehearsing your reply, find common ground and gently stay there. These aren't tricks, they're habits, and habits compound. The more you practice them, the more natural they feel. The more natural they feel, the more confident you become. Not loud confidence, quiet confidence. You're not awkward, you're rebuilding. Rebuilding your presence, rebuilding your confidence through skill, rebuilding the way you show up in rooms that used to intimidate you. And rebuilding doesn't happen overnight. It happens one steady interaction at a time. Move steadily, build quietly, stay grounded. And if you want to keep rebuilding, not just socially, but personally, subscribe. This is a quiet space for men after 35 who are choosing depth over noise. We move quietly here.